We have talked a lot about crime on our broadcasts. Sadly, because of the issues and the bloodshed we've seen here at home. We've watched Kansas City grieve together, protest together, and push for solutions together. As you know, there's no one-size-fits-all fix, and change doesn't happen overnight, though that hasn't stopped people from trying to make a difference. We've profiled groups working to put an end to gun violence, businesses rallying against theft and property crime, new policing programs, even new county rules working to get guns out of the hands of kids who all too often are hurt and killed in acts of violence.
I think it creates a safer community. Period. That's it. Juveniles should not possess firearms. If it takes a court case for us to prove that, then that's what we should do.
As all of this is happening, murders are down year to year in Kansas City, Missouri, but non-fatal shootings are up over this time in 2023. And we've seen a recent rash in property crimes grabbing headlines this year. Part of crime fighting involves partnerships between police and prosecutors. In Jackson County, Missouri, Jean Peters Baker is part of that equation. Has been for a while. She took the job as county prosecutor in 2011. Since then, she has worked to involve the community in the process and led an effort to help people with convictions get back on their feet and even work to expunge their records in some cases.
Once someone's paid their debt back, we should offer them the opportunity to have a job, to be able to support their family, to be able to rent an apartment in a safe neighborhood so their kids could go to decent schools, and felony convictions do prevent that.
Peters Baker will leave office at the start of next month. She chose not to run for re-election, but she did decide to come visit us here on Heart of the Matter, and we're grateful for that. Thanks so much for being here. So much has happened in the past 13 plus years in this role. I know you've been with the DA's office, prosecutor's office, much longer. But let's start with recent events. You pushed back on criticism about how law enforcement is handling property crime in Jackson County. Made a lot of headlines earlier this year. You said that in many cases don't make it to your office for a review. Has there been any movement since this back and forth?
I think what I was trying to push back on is not law enforcement, but misinformation. And I think people presume a crime happens and Baker's got it and Baker will handle it. And I only get to handle it if it's been solved and present it to me. So what I tried to do, is demonstrate facts and this notion that my office doesn't want to prosecute property crimes is just another false narrative that I really wanted to push back on and tell them that's not true. I'm a victim of burglary. I wanted my case solved as well. I wanted it prosecuted. That didn't happen. How
do you grease the skids a little bit and get more cases to your office? Is that just more pressure on law enforcement, improving relationships?
It is more pressure on law enforcement. So what I've tried to do is take some of that off of them by engaging in efforts where I go directly, like I did with the Country Club Plaza. Go there directly and see what can they build from a surveillance system, what can I look at, what crimes do I think I can get, and then send those to police to come to me. So the goal was to take a little bit of a pressure off police.
A few years back, you instituted a policy not to prosecute nonviolent drug offenses. Some critics, even candidates this year, had claimed that is likely contributing to other crimes in the county. Do you buy that? And what needs to be done with this moving forward?
No, I don't buy that. Now, I made that decision based on data, and I did a lot of data. The candidates didn't dig into data and research. So what I did was I looked at what crimes did have a violence nexus to them. Those, I still want those. And so even if it appears nonviolent, I still take it if there's some nexus to violence or there's some neighborhood nuisance going on. That's a case I want as well. But the truth is, those other cases were clogging up a system. We were not performing well on them, and we weren't getting good outcomes. So I wanted to hone in my resources on cases where we could really make an impact in the community.
When you talk about violent crime, certainly top of mind these past 4, 5, 6 years. During your time as prosecutor, we've seen some of the deadliest years in Kansas City, which isn't causal by any means, but just looking at the stats here. This year we know that there's been a renewed push on focused deterrence. This is something that you kind of championed more than a decade ago with the old KC Nova program. This time around it's called Safe KC. Are you starting to see results on that? How's that going?
We are. So, I'm reluctant to say what we are doing collectively is causing that reduction. I don't know that for certain. That will take time to study, and that will be the answer. But we are seeing about a 20% reduction right now in Kansas City of homicide. And, you know, I wanted it to be a bigger number than 20% reduction, but that is about 30 different, 30 individuals that would have been killed that weren't. So to me, to those 30 families, that's pretty significant.
I do want to ask about wrongful convictions, because this is also something that's near and dear to your heart. Launching the CIU, the Conviction Integrity Unit, 7 years ago. You fought successfully to get Kevin Strickland out of prison after decades and decades in prison. What would you like to see with those efforts moving forward after you leave office?
There's more work that needs to be done there. One, there needs to be a statute that does compensate people like Kevin Strickland that have been wrongfully incarcerated. Luckily, they are very, very few in our system, but they are there. And so we need to, we need to lean into that. As prosecutors, we need not be scared of that. We need to lean in and solve that problem. Beyond that, we need to also look at whether or not there is the potential for someone that has served, many, many years of a sentence, maybe as a young person, they went in maybe as a certified juvenile, if they're safe for release. I think there could be another review in our system for those types of cases.
Real quick, anything that you would change about your time in office? Any frustrations that you'd like to air out in your last couple of weeks here?
Yeah, how much time do you have?
Yeah, that's right.
I think I allowed a lot of misinformation about me personally, about my office, about how we operate to grow and swell. And the blog was my attempt to kind of fight back on that. The property crimes, focusing on data was a way to fight back on that. But I think that's been harmful to the community as a whole, because they have a false presumption about me, about our commitment to making this community safer, which is what every public servant in that office does every day. Bluntly, they work for less than they could anywhere else, and they do that because of their commitment to keep this community safe. I really want to use that time instead of to lodge a critique, but to champion these public servants that selflessly work with me every day.
Well, we appreciate your time and your service. Jean Peters Baker, thank you so much. Count on KMBC 9 News to track crime and watch as prosecutors, police, and the public work to curb violence and other issues here at home. Look for coverage on air and online at KMBC.com.